Okay. I'm going to nap something smaller this time. All right, where's my stuff? Put it away. Okay, so we got a box of the Bloodstone. I think I'm going to nap this today. All right. On the last live stream, I had this, or I made this. So I'm going to haft this, but I got to get set up for that. So it's not going to be today. I think I might also chip a little bit on this Keel Cook, get it reduced down to a reasonable size for a Snyder's. Let's see. I'll wait till everyone gets here. Hey, Jim Main. Let's see. Faith and Sawdust was first. Bren is here. Jim Main is here. Sal is here. Clint Evans. Robert Lai. Hey, everybody. Good to see everybody. Let's see if I can find the Snyder's really fast. So I can... Maybe I'll do that one first, since that one's going to be the easier one. RS. It's not in that section. Excuse me while I look for some pictures so I can get better acquainted with the Snyder's overall style. Hopefully it's in this section. Oops. Did I miss it? Yes, I did. And it's not in this section either. All right, what section is it in? So you need to look at a map. I think it's in North Central. All right. I think we got the right section now. SRS. There's a Smith. MN. There it is, Snyder's. So I've got a huge piece. Okay, so I can whittle it down or not. It's going to look like this eventually. I can probably get some good arrowhead flakes from this if I do it right. Tom Brown is here. Let me see. I can see the chat better if I use my other phone. Let's see who else is here. All right, let me see. This is always a chore to try to figure out where I'm at on my channel. To see myself live. I think this is it. Okay. So, what's going on in the chat? Flakes Guard is here. Bill Hansen, Danny Moore. All right, everybody say hi to everybody. So we're going to nap these two. Hopefully. And if you have questions, I may or may not see them. I'll try to keep up with the chat. Okay, so I got a lot of room in this piece. I forgot who gave it to me, so if you recognize it from the Knapping in Texas, let me know so I can send it back to you. It's a challenge rock. It's not going to be in the auction. I'll hang on to it until the next Knapping if I don't know who gave it to me. I'll hang on to it till the next Knapping in Texas in the spring. I'll get it back to you eventually if I don't hear from you before then, I'll just see you at the napping. So even though it's really huge, I do want to get the symmetry set up first. So I'm kind of hammerstoning it with the abrader. This is an artificial abrader that used to be a big grinding wheel. Industrial abrasive. I like it because it's very rough and it's very fast. It removes material quickly, but not too quickly. With a bopper, it removes material quickly. Like if I were to use a bopper to do this, but it removes material too quickly. Yeah, this is better. Let's see. Anti-AI Age Verification says hi. That's a long name, but welcome. Fatty Patty is here. Let's see. Who else? Who else did I miss? Let's see. Yeah, everyone say hi. Everybody say hi. All right. If you have questions, ask. If I miss your question, type it over again, or just say, you missed my question. I prefer you type it again, you know, write it first in Word or something on your computer or on your notes in your phone. That way you can cut and paste every time you want to ask it. That way you don't have to retype it.
Yeah, but the chat only allows a certain number of characters, so I need to type it in the chat.
Well, type it in the chat first and then copy it and paste it into a Word document or something, so you still have the question available if you need to ask it again, so you don't have to retype it. That's what I do when I'm in chats. I type my stuff on in a different format first, and then I post them. Try not to make the questions too long or whatever. Yeah, everybody hit the thumbs up. I don't know how much it helps, but it doesn't seem to help all that much because I still am shadow banned, even though I've got very good likes, very good like ratio. It still doesn't seem to increase the reach, so I don't know how much it helps, but it doesn't hurt, that's for sure. So I'm just going to start to make this a little more neat. Take out some of the wonkiness before I attempt to remove any large flakes from this, because I'll be using a bopper and I want the edge to be just right. Why do I want to remove large flakes? Well, it's really big as far as the piece goes. Much bigger than I need for a Snyder's. So I'm hoping to get some nice flat flakes for arrowheads off of this. I do have more of this Keokuk stuff, heat treated. This is a heat treated piece of Keokuk, but I want flakes like this for arrowheads, maybe a little thicker, yeah. Thicker, of course. This is super duper thin. That's kind of like a crud flake because you can't do much with it. If I can, I want to get some bigger flakes off of this. Thicker flakes off of this than that previous one. So I need to make sure the edge is going to be robust and nice and even, nice and neat. Good convexity on the edges and on the surface for the good flake removals. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing right now. Just making it nice and neat. Brandon is here, glad to hang out. Ronald is here. Let's see. Matt, how do you fight carpal tunnel? I do regular workouts now. Mostly curls with dumbbells. Helps with the wrist and shoulder. I do dumbbell weights at least 3 times a week. But if you have carpal tunnel, you have to wait till it heals before you do the weights thing, and then you get back into the napping. So you're going to probably have to take a month off. If you have carpal tunnel syndrome, take a month off to heal and then exercise and then get back into napping after you've healed and exercised. How do I know how to deal with it? I used to have trouble with carpal tunnel because I worked at a desk all day. When I first started napping, I had a desk job, and I already had carpal tunnel syndrome from my desk job. And I would nap with the carpal tunnel syndrome, and it kept bugging me and getting worse until I actually took about a month off, I think. Didn't do any napping, and then I, lifted weights to strengthen my wrist. But it still didn't help that much until I changed my diet to almost 0 carbs, and that got rid of the swelling. But yeah, it took me 5 years to figure out finally how to avoid the carpal tunnel. Something like that. So I was napping with carpal tunnel syndrome for 5 years at least. But not because of the napping. It was already there. Okay, so it's a little bit crackly, this stuff. Hey, Ilya Hawkins is here. Yeah, you like keel cook? Yeah, Jim Main says, as soon as I started the auction, the notifications came for the live stream. I need to get in it before Ralph. Yeah. Well, just see what Ralph bids. You can wait till he does his thing. Johnny Dagan, I just got surgery for cubital tunnel syndrome. Oh, dang. Well, just do what the doctor says. Don't push it, because you'll regret it. Yeah. So when I changed my diet, it reduced the swelling a lot in my hands and my joints. So the diet is actually what was the most impact on the getting rid of the carpal tunnel syndrome. Completely. Because I still had it for years. Many, many years. It was at least 5 years before I could figure out how to make it not be an issue. But it took, 3 or 4 more years after that for the diet to finally reduce the swelling. Or for me to discover a diet that would reduce the swelling. If you look at my old videos, my hands look fatter. And that's because of the swelling. And my wrists were bugging me a lot because of the swelling. Inflammation. So I had inflammation of the joints for many years. Until I got rid of all the carbohydrates. And then my joints and inflammation got fixed. Now I don't have any trouble at all. Of course, I only nap 3 or 4 days a week. I don't nap every single day. That helps too. Take 3 days off every week. So I don't know if I'll be able to get big flakes. It's already kind of thin. Big flakes for the arrowheads. Yeah. How do you nap this so it's not all crackly? That's a good question. You have to start out with some nice material. For one, I don't know if this is raw or heat treat. I think it is a heat treat, but it feels very dry and not glossy. So who knows? It might be raw. When you properly heat treat keel cook, it tends to be slick, right? At least a little bit. But this is very dry, like it's raw. I don't know. The stuff varies quite a bit, even when heat treated. But it does not feel heat treated. And it's not buttery, okay? It's not nice to nap. It might look that way. It might look, ooh, that's cracked. It might look nice, but it's not nice. So I do have, there is a crack in it, a natural crack. How about that? Danny Moore says, I haven't seen any that is slick. Yeah, there's some slick heel cook out there. I should show you some. I got flakes of it. Are you serious? Is here. Is keel cook a natural material? Yes, this is natural material. It's a natural chert. I think it's from Ohio. I don't know. Somebody correct me on that one. Let's see. Do I need to look back on the chat? Who did I miss? Let's see. Ronnie is here. 5 years with carpal tunnel. Why did you wait so long? Minute I found out I got the surgery in a month and a half later, I was just like new again. I didn't want to get surgery. No. Besides, I've got 6 children, so my money was pretty much non-existent for myself to take care of myself. So I just looked at ways to do it over time. Ways to get over the carpal tunnel over time with better habits, better life habits, rather than spending the money or dealing with side effects from the surgery and blah, blah, blah. The health insurance at the time had a very large deductible. So yeah, the health insurance would have covered it for my job, but I had like a $7,000 deductible or something like that for a surgery of that type. So there's no way I was going to do it. Yeah, and they kept changing the health insurance on me as well. Every year we would switch insurance policies, health insurance policies. Because when you first sign up for the health insurance, it's at a lower price. And the next year when you renew, they jack the price up. And my boss would always switch us over to something else. At my last job where I had my carpal tunnel problems, we had health insurance issues as well. Anyways, now you know. Good question, by the way. Let's see. Levi Barron is here. I missed your entrance. I'm trying to look at the chat. Hold on. A natural crack can be good. Are you trying to be funny? Natural cracks in stone are never good. Now, natural cracks in other things might be good. Let's see. And there's an auction going on in case you don't know. Hey, Victor Lopez. I've not seen you before. David Eldridge is here. Hello, hello. David Lape or Lape. Carpal tunnel is painful. I had an office job. Sometimes I couldn't move my hands. No more carpal tunnel. Now my arthritis is painful. My bursitis in my foot hurts so bad I limp. I'm getting older stinks. Yeah, it does. It does put a cramp in your style for sure. Clint Evans says, I bought some Keel Cook from Danny Collins. It was slick and it worked awesome. Nice. Let's see. Who did I miss? Yun Chang is here. Hey, how's it going? Good to see you. I'm just trying to do something with this keel cook. I think it is raw. It's very powdery and crackly. It feels rough too. Powdery? Yeah, it feels like every time I abrade this stuff, there's a big cloud of dust. And it feels like it's rough. Let's see, Joe Hollick. I got a bunch of new people coming in. I can't keep up. Let's see. Hello from Oklahoma. Dark Defend 420. Ricky Jackson. What state am I in? I'm in Vermont. But I get all my stuff from Texas and from people from everywhere, actually. I got lots of different sources. But I'm in Vermont right now. That's where my house is now. I'm living in my dad's old house. I'm divorced. My ex-wife lives in my old house in Texas. And yeah, my ex lives in Texas. I have a lot of Texas rocks from Knappings that I go to and stuff that I've collected myself. So yeah, lots of new people. I won't be able to say hi to everybody. Let's see. Jim Cooper says, I beg to differ, Patrick. KRF especially is prone to splitting along a horizontal axis, and I've had it split into two large platters just like I sawed it up. When did I mention KRF? Not in this live stream. Natural crack, is never good, and you disagree with that. Yeah, that's fine. But natural cracks, if it's in a layer, I suppose it can work out. If you're lucky. Let's see, it's luck. So I suppose I can never say never. Yeah. So yeah, I shouldn't say never. But it's a bad sign anyway to see cracks in knife river flint, even though it may split along a favorable place within the nodule. I don't ever take it as a good sign. But, I guess there's situations where it's not bad, but I don't ever consider it a good sign. Yeah, so let's see here. There's other flints and cherts that have the same issue with layering. It will crack along a layer. Or there's natural cracks already in it. Along a layer of it, not like this though. This is bad. David says, so what do you eat to stop carpal tunnel? Well, it's mainly what not to eat. You have to go through an elimination diet. The main thing that causes swelling in the human body that we currently eat these days is seed oils and plants that we're allergic to. You may have a food allergy. So you just start with eliminating all plants and all seed oils from your diet and see if that helps. 9 times out of 10, all your swelling will go away. You'll have sugar withdrawals for sure. And if you can't be without coffee, you can still drink coffee, I guess. But just eliminate, especially the seed oils, canola oil, cottonseed oil, all the cooking oils that are not butter or lard or olive oil. Olive oil, some people can tolerate it. I mean, a large number of people can tolerate olive oil, but those are the only 3. I can't tolerate olive oil, but I can tolerate butter and lard. So that's what I fry stuff in, and that's what I add to some, recipes that require oil. Okay? So I eliminated all the vegetables and all the seed oils. I was still eating some fruits, although they contain a lot of sugar, so I did have to wean myself off of those as well because I gain weight way too fast when I eat sugar. And I had the pre-diabetic symptoms. So it's mainly what you don't eat that helps with carpal tunnel or any kind of inflammation. Seed oils, are highly inflammatory, as well as certain vegetables. But you got to figure out what they are. If you can't figure out what they are, or if you don't have time, or you just don't want to do it, you just eliminate all vegetables. And if you're afraid of the lack of vitamin C or whatever, you can just take supplements. And eventually get rid of all fruits too if you're pre-diabetic or diabetic. Eliminate all the fruits as well. You won't die, I guarantee. There's plenty of stuff you can eat. Eggs, meat, cheese, butter. There's lots of different meats, fish, seafoods. I do cheat on my diet though these days, once in a while, like especially on the holidays. I'll eat a lot of chocolate. Reese's peanut butter cups are my weakness on Halloween, so I ate a bunch of those. But it makes me itch, so that's how I know that it doesn't agree with me. Chocolate and excessive coffee drinking, green leafy vegetables, they all make me itchy. My back itches like crazy. Or when I drink alcohol as well, my back will itch. Beer especially. Not so much with the non-alcoholic beers. Some of the wines are not bad. Anyways, I could talk about that for days and days. Ronald says, how are you going to get that crack out of there? I'm just going to keep thinning it down until it goes away. Yeah, I just got to keep thinning it down until it goes away. Because it's not on the other side. So I just keep thinning this side until it goes away. Buckskin. Marty says, all my exes live in Texas and all my friends are in Tennessee. Yeah, sounds right about, that sounds about right. Yeah. Let me see. Amira Ibarra is here. I haven't seen you before in the chat. Let's see. Hey, Ron is here. Hey. First time catching your stream, says Thomas. Welcome. Everybody welcome that's new. Does your leg get cramped while holding that copper rod, or is it easier to hold than I'm imagining? Joe Hollick asks the question. It's easier than than it looked. We'll see. Yeah, it's easier for me to hold it than you're imagining. But I'm sitting down low on top of a small bin. So this bin that I'm sitting on is only like 11 inches tall. So my knees are already high up. But I have no problems holding the rods behind my knee. Some guys can't hold anything behind their knee. So I have a video that I use a strap to hold this with, and I call it a Kelly strap, Kelly, after a friend of mine named Kelly, who came over one day and he said, I can't hold it behind my knee, so this is what I do. And he put a strap around his leg to hold the rod. I said, well, that's kind of cool. Yeah. Some of the natural tool guys were already strapping antler to their legs, so it wasn't a new thing, but it was something that I had not shown on my channel, and I called it a Kelly strap after my friend Kelly. So if you type in Jack Crafty Kelly strap, it'll show you how to hold a rod on your leg with a strap. I won't get into all the contraptions that have been developed over the years. Since I started showing the behind the knee technique, this is my technique that I invented, the behind the knee one. This particular technique of behind the knee, quote unquote, is something that I invented. Now there's many different ways to hold the rod, and there's different contraptions as well. I don't use contraptions or straps when I hold the rods, and I don't have trouble holding them. Let's see. And I don't get a cramp. Nope. Let's see. What's the point that I'm making, says Thomas? I'm going to make a Snyder's, but I have to reduce this down first. It's too big. Let's see. Somebody says I got, but Marty says I have a rod muscle behind my knee. No. I have big calves, I guess. I don't know. I don't have any trouble. David Eldred says, that's good because I love butter. Okay, so yeah, try the diet of, go on a carnivore diet. Or just go on an elimination diet. Just eliminate whatever makes you sick. Either way, you won't regret it. So it's too wide for me to do that kind of flaking. Dang it. I was trying to drive a long flake, but it's way too big and wide. If it was heat treated, it probably would have run a lot further. So I'm going to take it down. I'm going to reduce this size quite a bit. Some of you are going to go, no, don't do it because it gets too small and we want to see big points. Yeah, big. Big points, big points. Nope, I don't do big points. Okay? Oh, there it goes. That solves that problem, actually. So, yeah, that crack opened up as I hit the base. But I'm going to go for a Snyder's point. All right, it's north central in this book. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Some people are going, no, unsubscribe, change the channel, go look. I'm going to go look for somebody else that knows what they're doing. Somebody that has a crack in the rock but doesn't break it. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go do. So I'm going to make a Snyder's. So if you want to go look for a channel that they don't break rocks that already have cracks in them, be my guest. Yeah, I don't care. You can't change physics though. I gotta let you know. In case you don't know, physics are physics. All right.
Yeah, but you shouldn't have used a bopper. Should have just stayed with the rod because it was doing good.
It would have eventually broken anyway as it got thinner. Okay? Dang. Well, that solves that problem. Yeah, I don't have to worry about it now being too big. And if you wanted to see a big Snyder's point, oh well. I can't change physics. All right, so let's see. Asher is here. Danny Moore says drinking non-alcoholic beer is like wearing a raincoat in the shower. I don't know. I still have fun drinking non-alcoholic beer. Yeah. It's like eating crow. Nobody has to know. Yeah, you can still have fun. How's that beer over there? You've been drinking a bunch. And I'd say, oh, it's good. It's excellent. Yeah. But you're not stumbling around or anything. How are you handling that? Oh, don't worry. That's just the way I roll. Yeah. Yeah. Of course, they all know that I'm drinking non-alcoholic beer. They never asked me that. They know. Oops. Yeah, so I'm going to make a Snyder's now of the proper size out of this. And the book keeps closing on me. Lee Steinmeier says, hello. Hey, hey. How's it going? This is not toilet rock, okay? AA Ron. This is Keokuk. Graylin is here. How long ago did you switch back to copper from aluminum, says fan club president, CC6 fan club president. How long ago did I switch from, I think it's been 3 years. I think the last time I used aluminum was 3 years ago. Does that mean I don't like aluminum? No, I like it. But I just want to get proficient in everything. If you look at my older videos, I don't use these copper boppers very much, and I just switched to the solid copper instead of a lead filled. This is a solid copper bopper. Somebody said I should grind this for every video because his OCD kicks in. He doesn't like seeing the rock dust in these. I might do that. I might grind these. This is not Thunderstone. This is Keokuk. This is an actual stone. It's not man-made. Yeah, this is an actual stone. It's a chert. Hey, Noah Merritt is here. How's it going? O'Neill Lynn says, where do you buy your copper rods from? I buy mine from eBay. If you want to know exactly the link to eBay, just ask the question again after the live stream's over, and I'll give you a link in the reply. But I buy the copper rods from eBay. This one's 3/8 diameter. And I also buy the 5/16. Now the 5/16 is rare. So this is going to cost you like 3 times more than the 3/8. So don't freak out. Because you can buy a lot of this 3/8 inch rod, but it's hard to find the 5/16. But I use the 5/16 for the smaller points and the smaller flakes. Okay, 5/16 and 3/8. We have 168 people, so a lot of you guys are probably new. Let me write this down because I know there's people going, what? What do you say? 9/74 and 4/9, or I don't know. What do you say? Let's see. So I'm going to write this on this. These are the two size rods I use. 5/16 and 3/8. And on the boppers, I have a set of 5 that I bought from Flintknappingsupplies.com. So let me do that. Let me write these. How much was this? I can't remember now. Before I forget, so that I know more people are going to be asking this as the live stream goes on, because we got 2 hours, or let's say an hour and a half left. So this one is 13.5 ounces. Okay, 13.5 ounces. And this is a set of 5 boppers from Flintknappingsupplies.com. Flintknappingsupplies.com. This is 8.2. ounces. I have not used either one of these yet on this particular video. Okay, these are the 2 heavy ones. I've been using this next one, and this one is 5.2. Yeah, 5.2 ounce. Write it so you can read it. That would help. 5.2 ounce. That's the one I've been using. And then there's 2 other ones. Okay, this one is 3.8, and then there's a 2.8, 3.8, and 2.8. ounces. Okay. So those are solid copper heads, not lead filled. I was using lead filled like last month or a few weeks ago. Let's try to keep this open to the proper page so I can show you what I'm working on, because people will be asking as time goes on. Yeah, Snyder's. Now hopefully this will stay open. And you can see that my piece is still big enough to make that one, to make this one. Okay. These are actual size in the book. Yeah. That's what's great about that book, is because it shows these points in actual size. So you can get the dimensions correct. Let's see. Let's see. Did Kelly smoke weed? Says Sir Jacob. No, he did not. I don't mind you guys joking in the chat, but if we got some, if we start to have people that are a little bit too wild and crazy, I may delete you, or wait until Mike, the moderator, deletes you. Jared's here. Noah Merritt is here. Jay from Jay Valente's Wilderness Quest Outdoors is here. Jack Jones. Hey, Jack. Let's see. Coatinga Bushcraft from Brazil. Awesome. Let's see now. Bushy's here. Frodo Joe. That crack and break off appears to put you on to proper size, and yep, less strikes. They worked out. Bill Hansen says dried spackle. That's okay. You guys can have conversations in here. I'm just going to see if I can find a question. Smokey's Dank Days, do they nap differently? Okay, I think I missed the beginning of the question. What does what nap differently from what? Yeah, please try to be complete with your questions. What's up, Pat? Says Damon Crowfeather. I heard there was a live stream, so I decided to join in. Yeah. All right. Do I have a live stream every Monday? Yes, I do. Unless I tell you in advance that I'm not going to have one. I have one every Monday, every Wednesday, and every Friday. And sometimes I've been known to sneak one in on other days. I have been known to do that, although I don't usually do that. And I've recently changed the view, so now you can't see me. Just my hands, that's it. I used to film the live streams from the front view, but nobody watched them. Yeah. Now everybody watches these. I lost some viewers. They probably left because I wasn't flint-knapping. Yeah. It's okay. It's all right. They probably took a break and doom scrolled somewhere else, and they'll be back. So he's not napping now. I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna doom scroll over there on some other stuff. Yeah, watch you guys find real arrowheads. Yeah, I was watching some of those earlier today. Somebody sent me a link to a guy that was looking for arrowheads. Now I forgot what he found. Anyways, I do watch the guys that find real arrowheads. Sometimes I watch those videos. especially if someone recommends it. Oh yeah, some guy sent me a link to a guy that found a, what do you call, a tomahawk head, but it was actually a Celt. It wasn't a, it's not a tomahawk head. It's a small axe head. Although it could have been used in a war club. Yeah. Stone Celt, ground down, not napped. I watched that earlier today. There's a lot of those in the archaeological record. All right, so what's going on? Yeah, it's funny when you watch the guys find arrowheads in creeks that they made themselves. Yeah, you got to watch out for those guys. Let's see. Ronald says, it's not point related, but did you do any bow work? You were talking about it for a while, just wondering. Yeah, I've done a little bit to get prepared to do real bow work. I've got a bow tree that I brought from Texas. A bow tree is a setup where you can pull the bow and do the tillering. You can pull the bow with a string. You can, how do I explain this? You set the bow up on the stand, and there's a pulley and a rope and a hook with a scale on it. You hook the scale onto the bowstring. When the bow is strung up, while you're making it, you string the bow. You hang the weight, like the fish scale, on the bowstring, and then you pull it with your rope and pulley contraption, and you can see how much the bow is pulling by weight as you're tillering it. Okay, I've got that. I just need to set it up in the shop here. I need that before I start working on bows. But I've got the bow staves. I've got the bow tree. I just need to set it up. And I've been stripping bark off of staves and that kind of thing and getting them ready. Yeah. So I've got hickory staves. I've got osage. I've got elm. I want to get some black locust. I might be able to get a couple pieces this week of black locust. I'm going to go visit Bushy or Frodo Joe. It doesn't matter if I can't get any black locust yet. I've got other things that I can be doing, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to go visit him and see what he's got. No pressure. Yep. I don't really care at this point, but I am going to be making bows this winter. Oh yes. Let's see. Heartbreaker relics. I don't know if I've seen them. Let's see. Yelaya, are you planning on any books in the future on your skills to share, and might it contain your views on Edwards Plateau and Georgetown, Flint? Love your take on other historical facts. Yeah, I've got lots of notes that I'm going to put into a book. The problem is I get too complicated with my descriptions. I've actually got to make it less complicated. I've got too many notes with too many complications and too many long explanations. I got to try to simplify things. But my opinion on Edwards Plateau and Georgetown, Flint, they're both pretty good, but there are varieties that are nasty. I don't like Georgetown Flint anymore because I've had bad experiences with it. And for me, now that I have experience, there are lots of Flints in church that are better than Georgetown, believe it or not. Yeah, I will nap amoeba chert of high grade any day of the week in preference to Georgetown of high grade, as an example. I will also always choose Hornstone over Georgetown in general. Even if the Hornstone's bad, I will choose Hornstone over Georgetown any day. Those are two examples. Now, Edwards Plateau shirt comes in many varieties. Some are nasty, some are beautifully good. So there's no, I can't say anything in general about Edwards Plateau, except that it's variable. What else can I say? Some Georgetown can be heated and get better. Some of it can be heated and it gets worse because it gets too snap and happish. Some does not need to be heated. Some is not nappable unless you heat it because it's just too tough. And yes, Georgetown Flint. It comes in different varieties, okay? So for those of you who are new, stone is not consistent. Natural stone. One person can have a beautiful stone of a certain type and nap it on video, and then you try to get the same stuff, and it is the same according to the seller, and yeah, to get it from the same place, but you may end up with an extremely tough piece that's nothing like what you see on video. Or you might get a piece that's actually easier to nap than what you see on video. Okay? It's not consistent. So if you're new and you're looking for a stone that's always going to be the same as you see everywhere else, you're never going to find it. All stone is different. Just even a small difference in the consistency can make all the difference when you're napping. Like, see this? I'm trying to remove only thin flakes and it's starting to be all crackly. Some of this Keokuk, you can remove these really thin flakes and it'll feather out nicely. Okay? Some people say, hey, even if you're getting really nasty terminations and cracklies, it's much better than the Keokuk that I've napped. And some guys will say, man, that's really bad Keokuk. I've never seen anything that bad. And some people go, what's Keokuk? Did the Indians use it? And what points? What tribes and what points? Unfortunately, we don't have exactly what tribes use what materials and what points in most cases. The tribes that we know about are from a very narrow piece of history in the Americas. So I don't know what tribe used Snyder's points, for example. We know the culture because archaeologists have named the culture, but we don't know what tribes or even the ancestors. We don't know the ancestors of what tribes use these Snyder's points, that kind of thing. Unless we're just guessing in most cases. So yeah, if I start telling you, well, this tribe and this tribe use this and that, I better have some proof because otherwise I'm just guessing. The same with everybody else. What am I missing? Hey, Red-Eyed Patriot's here. This is our moderator. If it has a little wrench next to the name, he has a little wrench next to his name. It's like, it'll say Red-Eyed Patriot. He's my moderator. He will delete you if you don't behave. Yeah. All right. Yeah, Faith in Soda says it's called a draw jig. That bow tree I was talking about. I call it a bow tree. But yeah, it can be called a draw jig. Okay, yeah, people are looking forward to the bow work. I will do it this winter for sure. Ed Gould is here. Hey. Let's see. Patrick Madsen is here. What type of material? This is Keokuk. Let me write that down so everyone knows.
I keep hearing the name, but I don't know how to spell it. I need to know how to spell it or I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight.
Okay, fine. Let me see. I need a marker. Let me write it on here. I need a big flake that I can write that people can see. No? Yes? Where's the big broken piece? Is that the broken piece? What happened to it? All right, anyways. Let's see.
I know what Keel Cook is, dude. Just write it and shut up.
Okay, I'll just write it there and shut up. Can you see it from there? You can zoom in. You can tap the screen and go like this, and it'll zoom it right in. Okay, so it's going to be sitting right there. Not that I don't mind you asking the question at all. So don't take it the wrong way. Let's see. Enchanted Golden Apple says, "Are you ever going to nap abo again?" Yes, I will. Yeah. In fact, I can nap abo right now. How do I know? I got all my abo stuff. And I call it natural materials because you can't always say abo. Especially if the Australians are watching. Let's see. Hold on. It's going to take a minute.
What is that?
Let's see. That's my abo kit. Yeah, it's right on top. So yeah. All right, let me see. I'm gonna get some of that out. What's in the other boxes? More abo kits. Yeah. I started as a natural tool napper. Actually, this one looks better. I like this kit better. Yeah, I have separate kits. All right, so this is the one we're gonna use. What about this one? This one has a wood billet. This is Texas ebony. It works good as a wood billet for hitting stone. You can hit stone with wood, yes. Oh yeah, I got a big mule deer antler. I need to make it into a billet. Cow bone pressure flaker. I got all kinds of good stuff. But I keep these in separate bins. Okay. Let's try this. Why don't I do a lot of abo napping anymore? Because it's a pain in the butt. Yeah. You don't get good results. Let's see. It's one of my sweet hammerstones. Let's see if I can do anything with my sweet hammerstone. Quartzite. Let's see. What did I miss? Anything? Bob Churt. Can I ask what is the bopper made of? The Delrin? No, this is a mallet made of high impact or ultra high molecular weight plastic. UHMW plastic. Let me write that down. Let's see. This is UHMW. This is an H. UHMW. Plastic rod. And black. Okay. BLK. If you go on eBay and type in UHMW plastic rod black, you'll find it. UHMW. I get this question a lot, so that's why I'm taking this little break here. And sometimes they don't have black and they only have white. It depends on the availability. And it's a 1 1/4 inch diameter. Okay? UHMW plastic rod black, 1 1/4 inch diameter. And you get them from eBay. eBay. Okay? You can get them from Granger and other suppliers, but eBay has the cheapest price. And they usually have a reasonable shipping or free shipping. Okay? And if you're not satisfied, you can get a refund. All right, let's see. We'll try my hammerstone here. on the Keokuk. Let's see if that works. I don't really recommend hammerstones on this stuff, but I'm going to try it anyway. It's kind of shattery, the Keokuk. Yeah, it's too shattery, so I'm gonna use the billet. Okay. This is it looks like elk because it's very pithy, but it's got some of the skull on here. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it works. It doesn't crush it. Yeah. Where's my abrader? And yeah, you still have to abrade with antler, but not as much usually. But yeah, I started out as a natural tool napper, but like I said, it's a pain in the butt. That's why I didn't continue with it. I got burnt out anyway because too many people have too many weird ideas about how to nap with this stuff. They say elk antler doesn't work. Hammerstones need to be softer than that. Why do you always use hard hammerstones? And you just pretend you know how to work them with them natural tools. You're just pretending that you can do it. Or you think you can, but you really can't. Yep. So you can see the difference between antler and copper. See how the antler, it's weird because it grips in a different way than copper. So you got to get used to it so you don't do this kind of crackly stuff. I have to get used to how much I need to abrade in order to prevent the crackling, because it didn't crackle down here, but it is right there. And I have a feeling it was just different edge treatment. I did not abrade this side very much. And yeah, you can abrade with the hammerstone. It just takes forever, especially if it's hard. I got this as an abrading stone here in Vermont. This is a medium grit as far as stones go. Let's see if that works. I gotta have good convexity. I have to have better conditions on the surface. If I want to use natural tools, everything's got to be more perfect in order for it to work right. Yeah. See, it pulls the edge a lot. So it's a matter of getting used to it. Come on. It's still crushing. Everything is harder with the natural tools, more difficult. Except when you get into pressure flaking. Pressure flaking is, for sharpening, is the only thing, in my opinion, that is easier with antler than it is with copper. The sharpening stage. But this stage, you got to find the tool that works. So maybe I just need a harder antler. I have moose. This is moose. And you find a weight that works for you. This feels like it. No, it's the same as before. This one might. I don't know. I have axis deer somewhere. This is a billet that I was using before I started using plastic. This is elk antler billet. They both work about the same. I can try a softer hammerstone. How's that? Let's try a softer hammerstone on this to see if we can get it to go. I need to work on the edge a little bit better. This is a sandstone. It's a very soft hammerstone. And I'm not gonna be able to check the chat while I'm trying to figure this out. There's a little bit of a learning curve between the copper and the stone and the antler. You gotta get used to it. Yeah. My sweet hammerstone did not work very well on this. Let's try this. Yeah, a lot of dust came off. All right. I don't want to break my soft hammerstone. It's not going to work. The edge is not prepared well enough. All right, let's see. And I'm hitting with a flat spot, but you can also hit with rounded spots. It depends on what works for you. Usually a flat spot will work for me, but if it's not working, I'll switch to a rounder area. But usually the flat spot works pretty good. And you can isolate this stuff, and there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do. I'm trying to run a flake through there. If I can't do it, if I'm losing too much edge, I'll just switch back to copper and finish up. But you can use the natural tools on Keokuk, of course. But like I said, it's a pain in the butt. Yeah, I don't think it's going to work. Too much of a learning curve. Yeah. And I don't want to remove too much of the edge. The smaller flakes are easy. It's just the bigger flakes, it's going to require a little bit of a different approach. Soft hammerstone didn't generate a big flake. If I try an antler from the base, that might work. Ooh, it almost did it. Almost. Yeah, so that did work pretty good. So I would probably just continue using this. Let's see. And sandstone abrader. Let's see if I can run a flake this way. It's not advisable because I'm hitting into that step fracture in the wrong direction. I should be hitting it from this side, but that's too far of a distance. I think I'd rather come in through there. Still does not look good, but we'll see. Yeah, it's not going to do it. If I hit it any harder, it feels like I'm going to break it. Okay. What I'm doing now is I'm preparing the edge once again, but this time not as dull. So it was really dull before and nothing happened, so this time it's not as dull. It might grab it better. Let's see. Nope, it's not going to do it. Let's see. Do I have? Let's try some indirect percussion on this. Attack the front of that fracture. It's eating the antler. Okay. I still got room, I think. Yeah, it's still big enough, but it's getting to the point where it's not going to be very big much longer. Now, how did they do this back in the day? It just takes practice. Eventually you get used to what you need to do. You try many different things, different materials, different amounts of force, different abrading techniques. Eventually you'll get it. Eventually you'll do something that works. And then you stick with it. I'm still hitting into a bad area. Yeah, this is really crackly stuff. Okay. This is damaged. I think it'll still work. Okay, come on. Yeah, I'm gonna quit while I'm ahead. I just took that piece off right there. That's not gonna do it. Okay. So, how would I do it? I would put this down and use some other Keokuk pieces instead of ruining this one further. Yeah. And then once I get good at working the other pieces, then I would come back to this. Okay. Let's get serious. See how easy that was with the copper? I hit the front of that step fracture. Psh, took that off. The copper grips it very nicely. And this is the 5/16 rod, so I can get in there and get better accuracy on a smaller area. So that took off this flake. All right, so let's see. I got to do damage control here. But yeah, I'll do some other videos with natural tools. It just takes time to make the transition. There we go. See, with the metal, it gets into there because it has more energy, or I lose less energy. with the natural tools, quite a lot of energy is absorbed with the strikes. With the metal, you're not losing much energy with these strikes. So I was hitting a lot harder with the natural tools, but not getting any results. So when that happens, it usually means that you've got to either start with a bigger piece and knock off big flakes early, or figure out what combination of tools and stone will work for you. A combination of knapping tools and the stone. Sometimes it could take you days or weeks to figure it out. Sometimes if you just spend all day, you can figure it out, but I have lots of other hammer stones I could be getting out and experimenting with. Sometimes it just requires a sweet hammer stone to penetrate into the interior of your workpiece. But even with copper, see, it still does that. But I can get longer flakes, yeah, than I can with what I was using before with the antler and the hammer stones. All right, let's see. I'm getting close to being just the right size. Yeah, I can't lose much more width off of this. So I've got to be careful what I remove. All right, where are we in the chat? The boppers are not made of Delrin. I think that's high molecular weight plastic. It's a solid copper from Flintknapping.supplies.com. Scott Lauer is here. Let's see. What did I miss? I'm far behind on the chat. Hey, super chats. Jim Main, $5. Thank you, thank you. Comment is can't nap for free. That's true. Let me see here. Fat Butt Bassett, $2 super chat. Drink of Choice Fund. Thank you, thank you. His comment was Drink of Choice Fund. The Primitive Gentleman asks, Jack, just curious, do you nap in a closed garage room? Any ventilation? Yeah, I nap in a closed little shed. And I do not have ventilation in the winter. So I've got to set up something to ventilate my shop here in the winter. I haven't done it yet. All I have is a fan and a filter for my box fan. Let's see. You know, I have a box fan. See that? And there's a filter. There's like a HEPA filter on one side. I turn that on when I'm not filming. Come on. Okay. Let's see. I messed up. Yeah, YouTube gave me a notice. I knocked the camera out of position. All right, so what else did I miss? Alan Cole is here. What in the wide world of Flintknapping is going on? Let's see. Let's see. Danny Moore says, in my opinion, the less loss of energy is why direct percussion is best. I see. Frodo Joe says, put those antlers away. He's Frodo Joe or Bushy says, I gave up with moose billets. Yeah. All right, let's see. Copper time. Yep, it's copper time again. All right, so Omni Edits sent a gift. sent a floating heart. Awesome. Never seen that before. Let's see. I thought you were making the agave knife from the something I sent you the picture of. I don't remember the picture. Let's see. You sure you're on the right live stream? Just curious. There it goes. Damage control is easier with metal. I would have to go through various different natural tools to figure out how to take a flake off like that. Eventually I'd find it, but it would take some time. All right, so I'm getting close to the size. Yeah, I'm right there. I cannot lose much more width on this, but I got to make sure the surfaces are nice and smooth for Snyders. Yeah, people ask me to do natural tool napping because they're having trouble. You're having trouble for a reason. It's because it's a pain in the butt to nap with natural tools. How'd they do it back in the day? Just spend 15 years napping with natural tools and you'll get better. That's how they did it back in the day. They start when they're 10 years old and they're pretty good by the age of 25. Okay? That's how they did it. They had a hard time doing it. How do I know? Because you can't change physics. It's just physics. If we have trouble napping it these days, they had trouble napping it back in the day. It's just simple physics. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. All right. It's not hard to understand. It's hard to do. It's not hard to understand. Unless you're thinking that they had special powers or they had advice from aliens, then yeah, we're into some different territory there. Yep, I've seen them on YouTube too. Okay. See, when I use boppers, even though they might transfer more energy, I don't have much accuracy with boppers. I've tried and tried and tried, and my accuracy with boppers is not good. If you want bopper accuracy, you go watch Gulf Coast Knapping. He's got bopper accuracy. I don't. All right. That's one reason why I use a lot of indirect percussion. There's a reason I do it. Not because I think they did it like this back in the day, but because I get accuracy. And you need accuracy. And if you isolate and you have accuracy, it's even better. Gulf Coast is live right now? Dang it. When is Gulf Coast not live? When is he not live? Eric the Great. Humanity and the planet have no representative. I guess not. Let's see. Brennan says, sometimes it looks just like Jake is just karate chopping those flakes right off with that bopper. Yeah. I've watched his videos. Exactly. He's the karate kid when it comes to the boppers. Voila. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Nice. Good. 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 Still crunchy? Yeah, still crunchy. But it's raw keel cooked, so. Oh well. What time is it? I have an auction going on right now. I need to check it. So I'm done with the bifacing. Now it's the matter of thinning it down some more. Snyders are pretty thin as far as I remember. They don't show side views, but I think I remember these are supposed to be very thin. Let me look at, I'm going to check the auction. Okay, so first stage is over. The easy part's over. All right, let's check the auction and see what we got. I'm going to put a like on all the comments that I see. The comments are the bids. The bids are the comments. Tommy Taylor says, live long and prosper. See, I'm selling this one. This is item number 1. I got already 7 bids. I'm going to hit the like button on all the bids. That way the bidders can know that I see these bids. Number 2. I got some replies. Number 3. 10 replies on number 3. That Elko point. These are all made by me, okay? They're not real artifacts. These are all made by me. Modern stuff, okay? Oops. So yeah, I'm hitting the likes on all the bids that I see. At 9 p.m. Eastern, I declare the winner on each item. I've got 11 items today. I have an auction every Monday, for those who don't know. For those who do know,
Get back to the napping, dude. We already know about the auction. It's not that important.
yes, it is important. These guys are spending some money. Look at that. Getting the Christmas gifts. Yeah. 9. So this one is a Kerrville knife. Yeah. See, people do like these Kerrville knives, these hand axes. Alrighty. I think some people can't see other bids because I'm seeing a lot of bids that are the same amount. So just trying to make sure you're seeing all the bids by refreshing or hitting the newest. If you hit this newest button, it refreshes it so that you can go back and see if you're bidding above the last, higher than the last bid. I'm going to check one more time through here. Yeah, there's some people that might not see other people's bids. So I'm getting a lot of the same numbers. I'm also getting the same numbers off of the same people. Like one person is bidding more than once, but the same number. Hey, Jay Valente, $1.99 super chat. I'm accurate bopping the rock with my forehead. I wish. If I was accurate, I would nap with my forehead too. But I'm not accurate with my forehead. All right, let's see. I'd be lucky to be accurate at all. All right, that's good. Thank you for all the bids. Awesome. All right, so then this next part coming up is the thinning. All right, so I'm going to switch down to a smaller rod, 5/16, and to trim this up and make it straighter. And it's about the same size as I need. So I'm trying to make this one here, so I'm pretty close. So I'm going to stay with this size as much as I can and remove as little as I can. Another thing with natural tools is you lose more of the edge with a natural tool than you do with a metal, copper or steel or aluminum. Okay, the metals help preserve the size, the length and width and so forth. You're going to lose more edge, and it's just physics, okay? Why did you lose more edge with a natural tool? It's because you lose energy and you need to compensate somehow, either by hitting harder, which really smashes the edge up a lot, or you have to abrade a lot on the edge. I was having to abrade quite a bit. Or, you know, had to prepare the edge. If you isolate also, you lose more of the size. You lose more width if you isolate. And if you isolate these striking areas and then you mess it up, you got to reduce the edge again to isolate again and then try to re-hit it. And if you mess it up, you got to reduce the whole edge again to isolate it. Of course, you may be just working on a small area of the edge. But if you have to re-isolate it 2 or 3 times, you end up removing a bunch of edge in that one area, and you eventually have to take back the whole edge for symmetry. So it doesn't work very well unless you start with a big piece when you're working with natural tools. If you've got lots of material to waste, the natural tools are okay. But if you are trying to conserve your material, it's a very difficult thing to do with natural tools. Okay? All right. And it's just physics. It's nothing got to do with you. Okay. Some people say,
No, I don't have any problem with it.
how often have you compared your use of copper to your use of antler?
I never use copper, but I know for sure that it isn't going to be any different.
Yeah. I suggest you not talk about it until you've tried everything. That's my suggestion. You don't have to do it. You can remain stupid. I don't care. Yeah. And you know, you can even comment on my chat so we can know who the dum-dums are. Yeah. I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know who the dum-dums are. So please comment on my chat. And if Mike, Red-Eyed Patriot, if he likes your comment, he'll keep it on there. Even though it's not really useful. Yeah. Who's Mike? Well, you'll find out. Yep. If you don't behave, you'll find out. Let's see. Hey, Roger. You've been busy, Pat. Been a minute. I've been MIA for a while, trying to catch up on your videos now. Roger, it's good to see you. Roger Hizar. Awesome. Earthquake 3.9 is the 100th like. Awesome. I don't think I've gotten that many likes on a live stream before. Not at this stage. It's only an hour into it. Or wait, how much time do I have left? Oh, I've already been napping for an hour and 30 minutes. Okay, so we don't have that much time left. Good, because I really don't like this. This keel cook is kind of finicky. Yeah, I'm having to really think about these flakes, which I don't like. I don't like to have to think about it too much. I'm trying to think of how do I keep these from being so crackly. It's not easy. The surface has to be almost perfect as far as convexity. The convexity of the surface has to be almost perfect to get a flake that doesn't terminate like that. And the flake terminations are just physics. Yeah. If it's not convex enough, it's not gonna feather out. And sometimes even if it's very convex, it still won't feather out. If it loses some energy or if the flake itself has some issues in it. Like if there's an obstacle before the potential flake termination, sometimes the flake will mess itself up on the obstacle and won't go the rest of the way, obviously. It'll step fracture because it loses energy removing the obstacle. I don't think I had an obstacle right there, but I might have had. I don't remember. Let's see. Mike Mason, I'm curious, Dum Dum getting smarter one mistake at a time while making 10. Let's see. Danny Moore, give me a thumbs up. Awesome. Thanks, Danny. What else did I miss? If you have a question, I'm looking. Let's see. Did I miss any questions? Do you auction the biface? Says Alan Sparks. Sometimes I do auction bifaces. There is a box of Brokes and bifaces in this auction tonight. So yes. Oh gosh, let's see. You should do a collaboration with Jake. Yeah, probably should. I don't know when though. Eric the Great says, stolen intelligence has no consciousness, therefore furthest from God as humanly possible. Okay. Getting all philosophical. Ralph Snyder said, hey. John Saunders says hi. The number watching is going down now, but let's see. Still 100 people. Yeah. The live stream is going to be over pretty soon anyway. They probably left because I'm not napping all that much. I'm trying to pay attention to the chat and think about these flake removals. See that one? I got rid of a step fracture, but then I added one. Yeah. Some of these are not difficult to remove. That one didn't travel all the way though. So now I have a land bridge. What I call a land bridge. It's 2 step fractures back to back. That's a land bridge. Oh well. See, I was trying to do damage control with the ending of the flake, and that's risky. Many times it does not work out. Yeah, and if I try too many times to fix it, I get too flakery. Too many flakes. I don't like the way it looks when there's too many flakes. I don't like it when it gets all crackly. At this stage, as it gets thinner, it gets more crackly because the flakes are not very strong. These are not very strong. They're all brittle. And the thinner they get, the more brittle they get. Yeah. Okay. So, I'm not going to be doing too much thinning because that just looks nasty. Let's see. I got to notch it. But I wanted to get it smoother before I notched it. See, it has a big old step right there. I might not be able to get that out. Let's see. So yeah, hold on a second. I gotta think about this a lot. The final thinning is the most difficult, aggravating, and pain in the butt part of this whole thing. I'm having to think about the convexity quite a bit. Everything looks too risky. Yeah, even if I have a successful flake, it's still not smooth. See that? It jumped around a lot. So it was right here, that's that flake, but it jumped from this surface to that surface, and it's still not smooth. Let's see. I'll just do, do the best I can. I'm trying to get this step fracture from the other side, but I don't think it'll work. That flake didn't fan out. It hit this little step right there first, and then it just petered out. This flake here, so it's flaking kind of weird. Yeah. But I think that's typical of this kind of material. There are other materials that are similar to this. It feels like I'm napping Georgetown Cortex. That's what this is napping like. The cortex of Georgetown flint, which can be napped, but you're going to get a lot of crackly and crunchy areas. Let's see. I think I have enough time left on the stream to finish this. I'll put the notches in here in a minute. Let's see. Sal is leaving. Alrighty, we'll see you. Yeah, keel cook usually naps well with pressure flaking, so these little flakes I normally do with pressure flaking, but I'm just doing it with percussion right now just for speed. It's faster. It's not as nice looking though, but it's faster. I'm going to put the notches in. Let's see, what time is it? It's almost there. It's almost 8 o'clock Eastern. I'll go a little bit longer on the stream. Okay, so I'm going to put the notches in now. Yeah. Okay, so these notches, luckily, are not difficult. Just as long as I don't mess them up. And mess up the placement. So what I did was I just marked the placement of the notches. In between here and in between there is where they start. Okay. One of the hardest things to get done is the proper placement of notching. So I'll start right in the middle of those two lines on each side. This is a spatula type tool. I call these a spatula type tool. It's just a steel rod hammered flat, mild steel, or weldable steel. You can get these rods at Home Depot or Lowe's, or your hardware store if it's not lame. Yeah, a lot of hardware stores are lame. You can't get this stuff. All right, so they go in pretty straight, and I'll just expand them a little bit later. Just want to get them started. This is just brute force notching. I just crunch them in. Yeah, it's pretty thick, but I think I can crunch these in. If not, I'll use the Notch-O-Matic. It's already starting to require lots of pressure. I'm looking at the book. So sometimes I push with the middle. Sometimes I push downward with the edge of the tool. Sometimes I press with that, and sometimes I press with the flat part. So just downward pressure. If I press with the edge, it's just downward pressure. If I press with the middle, it's inward mostly. Inward and downward, about 45-degree angle if I press with the middle. But I can shape with the edge, or the corner. I should say corner. And if that starts getting a little bit dull, I flip it over. It can't develop too much of a burr because it stops working. So I'll sharpen it up, or I'll eliminate the burr with the file. Okay. So here we go. Let's see if we can get some good pop outs with heavy pressure. Let's see, I push like a quarter of the way up on the flat part, so it drags. A lot of the flat part will drag down. I start like right there, and then I push, and it's going to drag down and remove the flake. And I'll try to do that as I go along with every pop out. Just I clean it up a little bit after each pop out and then flip it over. Okay, I flip it over and it should be a good angle, or yeah, for the next pop out. Okay, you can see where I pushed the tool right in the middle. Pop it out. These don't need to go very far, so we're almost there on this side. And I just use the corner of the spatula tool to knock out these flakes and widen the notch. This is still bulky on this side, so I'm going to take that down. I should have probably adjusted the edge quality before I started notching to make it less wonky. Let's see. Let me do that now. Let me dress up the edge. Yeah, I'm losing a little bit of depth on the notch, but let me fix this. I should have fixed it earlier. Just make the edge better here. Before I get too far on the barb, if I make the barb too deep and then do the edge, I can risk snapping off that barb. Same with the ear down here. This is the barb. This is the ear. All right, so let me clean this up too. I still have the markings on the other side. Okay, so that's pretty good for cleaning up. Yes. Yeah, that's fine. All right, so one more good pop out. I think it's going to be deep enough. Well, it could go deeper, yeah. Nice pop out. See where the tool mark is? You do that also with antler. You'll see on artifacts there a tool mark like that, but it's going to be bigger when you use antler or bone. And you can use a punch for these notches too. It doesn't have to be crunched in like this. I just have better luck when I'm crunching it in. I blow off less of the barbs and stuff when I crunch it in like this. There's always a chance of messing up the barbs or the ears with a punch because it's so powerful. All right, so now I'll just leave it at that depth and widen this out a little bit. The bottom of the notch seems to be a kind of pointed on these Snyders, on some of them. You know, a little bit of a point. Yeah. What do we got? Let's see. Jay says he's popping in and out, just finishing dinner. Alrighty. I'm going to go a few more minutes over the time limit and try to get this notched. All right. Yeah, I'm just crunching this in. I can't move the phone closer to me, so I'm sorry if I'm out of the frame sometimes. I'm down here trying to notch it. I can get more leverage when I'm down here, but you can't see. So I'm just doing my usual crunching technique, just crunching these notches. And expand them a little bit as I go in. Yeah. Still a little bit crunchy This Keel Cook is kind of crunchy, but the notching isn't too bad. As far as effort, it's not that bad. I don't have to put a whole lot of effort into it. Now watch me eat my words here as it gets thicker. Yeah. I knew it. I can jinx myself. Yeah. I think I did. I think I stalled it. Okay, let's widen it a little more. There we go. It's so crunchy. There it goes. I needed a big pop out. See, that was that last one. Where'd it go? Anyway, I got a big old pop out. Finally. And another good pop out? Yes. So I got to make the notches symmetrical. This one, see, this notch is bigger, so let's enlarge this one. The sides here need to be taken down just a little bit for symmetry. Yeah, see, this side's bulging out a little bit more. And yeah, I'm using the same tool for pressure flaking the edge. And now it's just a matter of making it symmetrical. The tip looks like it's out of alignment. It looks like the tip is too far to this side, too far there, to that side. So if I take more off the tip, it'll realign it. Let's try the other flaker. Yeah, like that. Yeah, nice. So it looks a little bit more symmetrical. Yeah, I think so. I didn't even get to my green jasper. My green jasper's sitting over here going, "Hey, wait, you didn't do me. You didn't do it." No, I didn't do it. Yeah, like that. I gotta sharpen it. Did the Snyders have a lot of sharpening flakes? I don't see a bunch. In the pictures down here, I don't see a bunch of little sharpening flakes. I don't see too much picking. Well, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see. And if there wasn't much picking on these, oh well. It's got to be sharp. It's gotta be sharp. Super duper sharp. Yes? Or are they just for show? I don't know too much about Snyders. So that's it. It is not completely symmetrical. It could be better. It could be flatter and less steppy. But that's it. Let's do some more constriction on the base here. Hold on. On the stem. Let's do some edit concavity. Yeah. Like that. Almost. Yeah, like that. I can see it better if I do this. Yeah, one notch is a little bit bigger than the other, but oh well. That's my final answer. My notches are a little bit smaller. Yeah. On the real one, the notches have a wider opening. But my base and my stem is the same. Yeah, the stem is the same. The width of the point is the same. It's a little bit longer. But yeah, there you go. And this point is going toward, or going back to the guy who gave me the Keokuk. Yeah, as a challenge. Oh, there it goes. I just picked out that step fracture. Sweet. But yeah, raw Keokuk is very crackly. Yep. All right. Sweet. Okay, so what did I miss in the chat? Stephen Draper looks like fun. Corbin. A lot of people I have not seen in the chat. Let's see. Mr. Jim says, does anything terrible happen while pressure flaking? Oh, yes. I can envision a piece snapping in half. Yeah, that does happen when you're pressure flaking. This is not toilet lid material. Who keeps saying this is toilet lid material? I'm going to have you banned from the chat. This is Keokuk, right? Or maybe you're talking about something else. Kerry Voss says, why don't you punch notch on thick material? Because I didn't want to. Yeah. I could have. I could have used a notch-o-matic. Or I could have used a punch. I have... Where is my punch? I have something like this, but it's a punch. I could have used a vertical punch. Or the notch-o-matic. What's a notch-o-matic? I could have used this. It's a spring-loaded punch. I can also use antler punch, but I'd rather crunch than punch. I'd rather just crunch it than punch it. Okay? It's just personal preference. That's the only reason. Let's see, what else did I miss? I'm looking for questions before I sign off. I'm going to sign off here in a minute. So let's see. Jay Valente said it's looking to be an awesome Snyder's. That's one of my favorite styles. Cool. Thank you. Let's see. All right. Samuel says, what is that for? It's for a friend of mine who gave me the Keokuk. In exchange for the Keokuk, I'm going to make him a Snyder's. And do this on video for educational purposes. So he gave me the Keokuk, which started out as a bigger piece. But I ended up trying to copy one from the book. A Snyder's from the book. Okay? So now I'm looking in the chat to see if I missed any questions. I think I got caught up. And I'm going to end the stream here. It's supposed to end at 8 p.m. Eastern. My auction ends at 9 p.m. Eastern, so I got to get back to the auction. I'm going to announce the winners at 9 o'clock. Ilya says, Snyder Lophagus. Nap on, Jack Crafty. 136 likes. Now it's 142 likes. Awesome. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you. Everybody, thanks for all the likes. Lots of people tonight. And next live stream is Wednesday. Yeah. I usually don't make videos on Tuesday. Next live stream will be Wednesday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern time. Okay? We'll see you guys then. Have a good night. Take it easy. Get some sleep. I need to go to sleep early tonight. I woke up way too early today. All right. We'll see you guys later. Take care. Bye-bye.